In the tunnel.
In the tunnel.
In the tunnel. You're listening to In the Tunnel.
Hello, welcome to In the Tunnel. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Sean.
And we're talking conference finals, NHL, NBA. So, let's get into it. Start, of course, with just to get this over with because, well, it's just not fun for anybody to talk about. Really, I think the whole world is mourning the loss of the Pittsburgh Penguins in the NHL playoffs. So,
are you kidding me? I'm having a great time right here.
Okay, well, you know what, Sean? You're in the minor percentage of people who hate the team. Nobody hates the Pittsburgh Penguins. Check the Facebook pages, check the Twitter pages, Instagram, all of it. I don't think I've ever seen a comment that said, like Sid cries or anything like that.
I think you haven't looked hard enough.
I mean, how hard do you want me to look?
Like second or third page of comment.
Sounds like a lot of work. Sounds like a lot of work. But anyway, just to take the blinders off and be real, I'm not exactly sure what to make of the fact that we lost to the Capitals, Sean. Like, this scares me. I'm not exactly sure what life is going to be like after the Capitals beat the Penguins in the second round. Or just the fact that the Capitals make it to the third round. I'm not sure what this world is anymore.
Aren't we, looking at it right now with the way that the Capitals series has gone so far?
Well, you would think, but I'm not convinced that this world is real anymore.
I'm sorry, but you're living in it. It's definitely real.
I think we could all agree that, the Capitals losing in the second round was, as certain as, you were going to have to pay taxes every year.
Oh,
that,
definitely.
Cars need gas. It was just, one of those things that was, automatic, or as near automatic as possible. This is like robots taking over the earth to me. I was not ready for it, and I probably never would have been.
That's probably going to happen. I'm sorry to...
Yeah, it's a demise, and for me, it's my demise. I mean, it took a long walk after that overtime winner by the Capitals. It took a long walk around the apartment complex to get over that one.
No more Milanos for you.
Yeah. I guess I can start saving money on not spending money on cookies now. Back to conservative eating habits, if there ever were any. As a working poor 24-year-old man, but I'm convinced that this is the start of an alternative universe. This is like Back to the Future when Doc Brown's up till now everything existed as it should have, but now we've created this tangent in the future. This tangent includes Ovi lifting up a cup, and all of a sudden I'm hoping that I'm back in 1955. That's all I have to say. I'd rather be in a pre-Penguins existing era than to see Ovi lift a cup. And now you're going to tell me that they're...
Why do you hate Ovi so much?
He's a one-dimensional player, Sean.
Yeah, but he's he hasn't done anything for you to dislike him. He's literally lost to the Penguins at every turn except for this one.
Yeah, because this one he was on a diet apparently. that was the big difference too. Brooks Orpik said his diet is inspirational. I'm thinking, I'm sorry.
Are you kidding me?
This is the reason behind you making it to the third round is Ovechkin's maybe like eating yogurt a little bit more or something. Like this is the reason why you guys got past the Penguins. Your captain is on a
On a
diet.
diet.
What was he just like stuffing muffins down his gullet for 8 years?
I mean, with the
even-
amount he probably works out, he could probably be doing that and still be more fit than the both of us.
I don't know, but like Yager was doing that well into his 40s. Like Yager had an interview when he was like with the Florida Panthers. Like I work out twice as hard as everybody just because like I can't stand not eating my muffins.
I
And he
could see
played
that.
2 more years. So I don't know. What pisses me off most is Ovechkin's gone gray, and now he's getting like his vintage years. His
Hey.
vintage years, which include getting to the third round.
Hey, at least Hank will never win a cup.
Oh yeah, I mean, he had his chance, but he wanted to stay through the rebuild. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I mean, but the thing is about Lundqvist is he's actually made it to the final.
And failed.
Yeah, but like
The Capitals hadn't even gone there yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is even now, like that's what we're dealing with for the Capitals. Like that's how monumental winning the second round was. Was that, like,
They don't choke in the second round anymore, apparently.
well, it takes 2 in a row to break a streak, or like to set a trend, I should say.
Yeah, but I mean, if we actually get to the games now, like, Capitals are 2-0 up on the Lightning so far, and they're just playing better.
Again, it doesn't mean what I'm referring to is the Capitals haven't had back-to-back years of making it to the third round. You want to say that
I
they
mean,
don't choke in
you're the
playoffs,
only team in the, like, recent history that has had back-to-back years of winning the Stanley Cup. It's not always about making it to the third round. Like, there are, 4 teams in the third round?
Yeah, only 4. You have it right. I mean, there would be 5, but then it would be a weird bracket.
But, like, you can't say that they need to make it to the third round twice in a row. I don't think that's a good judge of anything, really. Like,
I'd
make
say-
the playoffs again. Don't, like, literally choke in the second round, but put up a fight. That's fine.
No, I'd say that between the Capitals organization as a whole and like Ovechkin's career, in order to say that they turned a corner, you need 2 straight years of making it past the second round.
I don't agree with you.
Okay, how about 2 and 4 years of making it past the second round?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
All right, buy one get one free, and then you miss 2.
I just want, like, consistency. Well, I mean, consistency and level of play, right? Because they used to be, like, amazing during the regular season and then just, like, crap the bed in the playoffs.
Well, that's a good point. So hold on a second. They win the President's Trophy back-to-back years, which is insanely hard to do. But your barometer of success is don't expect them to make it to the third round 2 years in a row.
Well, no, but my barometer of success isn't them. I'm saying get, like, at least put up a fight, because in the playoffs when they've won the President's Trophy, they literally just, like, stopped showing up in the second round and they just lost all their
I
games.
mean, they took it to Game 7 last year in the second round.
And
Game
did you see what
6 in
happened in
overtime.
Game 7?
Yeah. Did you see what happened in Game 7 this year? No, because there wasn't one. That's the difference. And that's what scares me, Sean. Maybe we're playing therapist here with microphones on, but this shit scares me. If the Capitals start winning cups, I don't know what the world is. If the DC area starts winning sports championships, like the whole East Coast might just fall underwater. Because it's not supposed to happen that way.
Hey, everything changes.
Well, not all the time, but I mean, you still have to pay taxes every year despite who's the president.
Yes, but the amount of taxes I have to pay changes every year.
Yeah, well, some things change, some things don't. I don't know, man. It's a scary world we live in. It's a scary world. filled with spending money on getting brake pads replaced and then the next day getting an auto insurance bill almost as if they knew it was going to happen. It's a scary world we live in. See that eye roll. You see that eye roll. It's a New Jersey signature move. But, yeah, so Capitals and Lightning is in the third round. I'll admit, in previous years, I probably would have stopped watching hockey, but I'm committed to generating and creating this podcast week in and week out, so I have been watching. It has not really been like something I've been watching with a smile on my face. And, but Tampa's just looking bad. Like, there's just
like
no
garbage.
Well, like, they have their moments, but then, like, Washington decides to score 5 in a period or something, and then it's like, and these are like Tampa's home games, and they got smoked. And
Yeah, I mean, if they don't come out swinging Game 3,
it's over.
which will be hard, because Capitals fans are gonna be like hardcore for their team.
Oh, they're going to be. They're at a point now where I'm convinced that everybody's just going to show up with hammers and hit each other over the head, because that's the level of excitement they'll have. Like, they literally, as fans, have nothing to lose now. They're in a position they haven't been in like 20-some years.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, the Winnipeg Jets, this is their first conference final appearance, and they're just like, oh, we're going to wear white.
But, like, wasn't it also their first series win? Back in, like, the first round.
But the weird thing is like, you have, for me, I combine old Jets and new Jets, like the pre-Thrashers Jets and the post-Thrashers Jets.
So, the Coyotes franchise and the Thrashers.
No, but here's the thing, is like, in the NBA, you had the Charlotte Hornets, and then they move and become the New Orleans Hornets, who become the Pelicans, and then you had the Charlotte Bobcats, which became the Hornets. So, in a sense, it's really the same thing, but they, like, it just, like, reverts back to the old team. But with the Charlotte Hornets, it's not like, oh, it's their first thing, first playoffs ever. It's their first as the rebranded franchise, but it's not the first one.
It was literally the first win for that Thrashers Jets franchise. Literally the first series win for the Thrashers Jets franchise.
Okay, well, maybe I'm a big 3 guy then. Let's throw in the pre-Coyote Jets, or whatever it is.
The Jets Coyotes franchise that just went downhill when they moved to Arizona?
Yeah. See, it's like they never left.
Actually, it's like they left because all the players are different.
Oh, yes. Same again with the Charlotte Hornets roster. It's like, oh, Chris Paul wasn't ever on the Charlotte Hornets. I'd name other players, but I'm not sure that they have any. They're bad. Like, they're so bad that I live in Wilmington, and games that occur in Charlotte, North Carolina don't get broadcast on the TV stations to Wilmington. Like, Fox Sports Carolinas does not broadcast to the whole Carolina state. That's how bad the Charlotte Hornets are.
Oh, okay. I mean, they're obviously going to broadcast what they think is going to make them money, and
no, they broadcast all the Hurricanes games.
Okay, that's just
weird. Yeah. We're talking show business on the podcast.
Anyway, back to the Capitals Lightning.
See, this is what happens when we drink and record. It's like, we can't stay on point, but we've committed to this social experiment.
I think it's just you, dude.
I mean, we'll find out with time.
You're the one driving the conversation in every direction.
I mean, better than drinking and driving like a car.
Fair enough.
Drinking and driving a conversation, that's just good entertainment value.
We'll see.
We'll have to check the ratings. Check the demographics, all that shit.
All right. Anyway, back to
Anyway, what
the.
did you want to talk about, Sean?
I'm just like really surprised at how different both of these teams have looked out of the gate.
In comparison to like the regular season, or like previous rounds in the playoffs, or what?
Yeah, in comparison to previous rounds of the playoffs, because
Okay,
as much as
hit me
like
with some info.
Washington can score and all, but they they tend to have defensive lapses that they haven't really had. And then the Lightning, they're supposed to be just as dynamic. Like they should be able to score on a flip of a coin, and they're just not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm I'm equally as surprised, more because the Lightning, they were like red hot all year in the regular season, and
But
then
I
they
mean, they
just
did.
drew the toughest competition in the postseason.
But they also they cooled down a lot towards the playoffs.
Yeah, but for I mean, and it like comes down to when you peak, which it might have something to do with why the Capitals are in front in the series now, is because the Lightning have kind of just been like playing a 500 game since the near end of the regular season. But for most of the regular season, they were like so hot that it was like the East could have been them, the Bruins, and then everybody else is just like beneath them. I don't
Yeah,
know. That was my perspective, because like the Bruins were on stretches after the All Star break where they were winning tons of games in a row. They were putting up like 7 goals a game, and that it was kind of fueled what I thought were going to be my predictions on what happened in the East. That's why I thought that the Penguins weren't going to make it back to the finals. I thought that the Atlantic teams are stronger.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I did think both the Lightning and the Bruins were stronger than any of the Metro teams.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does go to show that like the Capitals just got hot from the Penguin series.
No, I'd say it's even the Columbus series. The end of it
I don't
came
know. I
down.
think that series was more shaky because
A
coming into
little
the
bit, but for like the ability to like we uh pulled out some games that like look like we shouldn't have won them, because they were down 2-0 in that series, and to come
yeah,
back
but I
and win
mean,
4 straight, that's momentum.
they had two straight losses in overtime.
Yeah, and then they had wins in overtime in that series too.
Yeah, but my thing is going from the Columbus to the Penguin series, the Penguins still put up a great fight, especially in the beginning. It's not
Yeah,
like they carried that like, oh, we can come back from this and play at a different level. They played great, but I think they picked it up towards the end of the series more so than the beginning. And they're using the momentum that they had from the end of the Penguin series to like light a spark under them right now.
yeah. I mean, it was because like a lot of us were thinking like, yeah, in that game 6, if the Penguins won it, like that could have been the turn. That could have been the
Well,
turn.
it's
So like,
obviously the turn.
so they brought another level in that game 6. Different than we saw the last 2 years. And well, Letang was also playing like a moron, just not playing his side of the ice defensively that whole series. It seemed like, and now like this is one of those things of like if you can't fix what happens, and credit to the Capitals because they spotted that those adjustments weren't being made and they attacked them. And that's what good teams do, and that's why good teams are alive right now.
Yeah, but I
So
mean,
like,
it is it is just weird to see how the Lightning came out in the series. I mean, they're home,
they
right?
look
And they
flat.
just have two pretty abysmal performances.
They look flat. They just look.
Very.
It's not to say that like game 2 when they had, uh, I mean they gave up a goal early, which is like how come the Capitals keep getting these early goals in the Penguin series and now in this series just come out firing and scoring in the first 2 minutes like every game, but the other thing is that like Tampa responded and they had a 2-1 lead on like 2 power play goals. They looked pretty good from that point, but then when the Capitals came back and tied it 2-2, all of a sudden 3, 4, 5, 6, and at that point it's over. Especially when you have goals being scored within like 6 minutes of each other, and the capital and the other team just can't respond that quickly because they need more flow. It's from a being able to build something and convert off of it. It's just over at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, we'll see. Like, because the Lightning have to come out swinging in Tuesday's game in order to even have a chance of coming back. Because they
because
lose.
a 3-0 series is like kiss
They
of
lose
death.
in Washington game 3. It's over.
Well, what has reverse sweep in hockey playoffs has only happened like 5 times ever, if that. So like,
Yeah, I think so.
if that, I think it's like 3 times or something like that. But like,
Not 100% sure.
I'm not sure, but I'm curious to find out. But like, if you go to 3-0, it's over. Like a 99.5% chance, like you can't come back from that.
But the bigger problem is, like, the Capitals showed they could play away, and they're playing very well away in Tampa. Tampa needs to respond and say they can play away also. The problem is they will end up having to win a game at home.
Yeah, which doesn't sound like an issue until it is.
Until
Because like so
they've
far
lost
it
the
is.
first 2 by
Yeah.
pretty big margin.
Yeah. And that's the question is like, because like in previous years they had Ben Bishop as like with Vasilevsky. You don't have that now. So can you pull Vasilevsky for anybody or is it like solely
No.
on him? Well, he gave
What
up
do you have,
6.
Budai or Domingue? Are you kidding me?
Hey, the stud goaltender Vasilevsky has given up what 5 and 6 in the first 2 games.
No, 4 and 6.
That's still not good.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not putting Domingue in there. And, like, I don't know if I'll have Budai start a game, but he can relieve, sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if he relieves, it depends on how well he does if he starts the next game.
And I don't think so.
I mean, Grubauer was a high hand for the Capitals. I mean, it's a different story because Grubauer is like a middle level goaltender. It's not like a drop off, like not a significant drop off. Like Holtby's Vezina candidate level, and then a little bit of a drop off to Grubauer. But it's a different story, for Tampa. That's why it's like, can you even go with a different goaltender? And
I don't think so.
yeah, but if that's the case, then you got to play better defense. And I don't feel like Tampa's. I mean, they've got the talent to play good defense. I just don't know. I just don't know that they, that's really the problem. So it's like, they have a roster filled of guys who are playing offense really well this year, guys who are playing defense pretty well this year, and a pretty darn good goaltender. And it's like, what's the adjustment here? It's a pretty interesting dilemma.
Yeah. But hey, we'll see.
Yeah. And completely random. This is not an alcohol induced tangent. I thought about this yesterday when I was watching game 2. The astronaut dude who goes to all the Lightning games, who sits like right outside on the other side of the glass. I'd like to know how old that dude is. If that dude is retired and shows up as an astronaut to every game, like this is a weird thing for me. This isn't like Marlins man who's like a lawyer who goes everywhere. This is one dude who goes to Tampa Lightning games and just tries to intimidate players by waving at them through a spacesuit.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It's a weird story, man. Because that's not a team mascot. That's not a team mascot. Team mascot
Literally
doesn't have
just
the
some dude in a
NASA logo.
spacesuit.
Yeah, team mascot doesn't have the NASA logo on it. I don't think they have a partnership there. Call up Gary Bettman if they do. Oh, Vegas scored. I don't know who scored, but Vegas scored. because today is Monday, May 14th, 2018. It is 8:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the Vegas Knights are
Tomas
playing.
Tatar scored
Are you
from
gonna
Theodore and Carpenter.
Okay, just you know. It's a bad
Anyway,
trade.
that brings us
Yeah. I mean,
that
right
brings
back
us
into
straight
the
into our
action.
next topic.
Right into the action.
Knights Jets. Currently, game 2 is being played, and Jets are currently 1-0 on the Knights after, was it Saturday's game?
Yeah, Saturday. Saturday night, and it was what 4-1 win, 4-1, 4-2.
4-2.
Yeah, I mean, Winnipeg's just generating. It doesn't matter what round it is; they're just generating chances and generating shots.
I mean, that is what they do best. They have a lot of offensive talent on that team, and they're playing pretty well defensively too.
Yeah, and Scheifele's scoring. Like Scheifele's got what 12 goals or something.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
That's pretty damn good because they haven't gotten 16 wins yet. Like 12 goals and 16 wins would be pretty good as it is. So like, yeah, he's doing pretty good. He's doing all right. And Hellebuck is playing unlike a Canadian team goaltender in the playoffs normally does, where like they just like self implode. Hellebuck is actually playing like a competent goaltender. So I mean that's scary. Like as strong as Vegas has looked, they might not make it if the Jets just continue to click. I think it depends on what happens tonight, because like if Winnipeg takes 2 in front of their home crowd, and it depends on how many they put in on Fleury, if any, because like you can't. Fleury's given up a lot of goals since his hot start in the playoffs, and if he's just keeps giving up more and more, I think it chips away at him in his confidence. Like not as much as in recent years, but I think like just enough for him to slip a little. And I'm not rooting for it, but
Yeah, I don't know. But I think the main problem with most of the goals scored on Saturday's game was like defensive breakdowns. Like they gave so many odd man chances to the Jets. Like at one point their defenseman was pinching in the offensive zone without the guy covering him behind him and just like go straight past the puck. Like what are you doing? And if you make those types of mistakes, obviously the Winnipeg Jets, with how like speedy they are, they're going to take advantage of it.
yeah, no, you're right. I don't know.
It's just like if because I don't think you can really fault Fleury like completely. I mean, obviously he let 4 goals in, right? But he didn't really like his defense just decided not to show up in like the first period.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, they were just like, "What's a puck?"
Yeah, but the thing is like Fleury's given up. Was it given up 3 plus in 5 of the last 6 playoff games going into tonight? And he only gave up 3 in the first 5 playoff games. Like I'm not expecting him to keep on that pace because that would be like pretty ridiculous, and like, just hand him the Conn Smythe if it was that he only gave up like less than 1 goal in 5, goals per game, in the whole playoffs. But it doesn't work that way. You expect there to be a little bit of a drop off, but it all comes down to what Winnipeg is able to do offensively. And like right now in this game, is they haven't gotten a lot of chances in the first period, but like you said, defensive breakdowns and breakaways and being able to set up when they are clicking when it comes to that which seems to have been their forte all playoffs long. It's just a completely different animal.
And Vegas just scored another goal. Jonathan Marchessault. Right now it's unassisted.
Yeah, Fire Stick suck because you get a delay. So, looking forward to seeing that happen because it has not happened yet.
Oh, well. Yeah, but I don't really think you can blame Fleury
Oh, no. No, not solely.
for giving up. I think it's 3+ goals in 4 of his last 6. I think.
5 of his last 6.
No, I mean, because I think he shut out the Sharks twice.
I mean, from the stat I saw, it was 5 of 6.
All right, let's count.
Sure.
So
Because
1.
this will make for great radio.
No. 2. 3. Okay, yeah, 5 is last 6.
And there's been 4 reverse sweeps in NHL history.
Okay, what's the most recent one? Even though I probably don't want to know.
Dude, I've just closed it. This is let's see.
Eh.
LA Kings in 2014 against the Sharks.
Okay.
Wasn't it
Yep.
the year they won a cup that year?
2014?
It was one of those years.
No, they won in 2012. Or was it 12?
They won 2 cups in those early 2010s, didn't they?
I'm not 100% sure.
This is like just like sports research podcast now.
I mean, what better?
Change the title from In the Tunnel to Let's Find Out.
Yeah, 11, 12, and 13, 14.
Ah, so I was right for once. Let's go. Oh, man.
Anyway, back on track.
Yeah.
I think this is really going to be more of a goalie matchup because I think both of them are playing pretty well. It's just how can the defense hold up in front of them that I'm
Yeah.
more worried about. It's not like, Nashville where you're going to say which Pekka is going to show up, right?
I think it also
Or-
comes down to what the defensemen contribute. Because
Exactly.
the Jets have had Bufflin scoring pretty well this postseason for a defenseman, but I don't see that the Knights have like an equal counterpart to that.
But the Knights scoring has been more spread out, I feel.
It has been, but like if we're talking threats, I don't know that they have an offensive defenseman who does that like Bufflin does. And even Bufflin's not that much of an offensive defenseman, but it's still a different story than having nothing.
True.
Because like that versatility, it can help win games down the stretch when like you're trying to like just keep bodies in front, and all of a sudden a defenseman is joining in the rush, and then you know things just become a little, this is not what it was supposed to be, and one piece falls, and then it kind of turns into a 2, and then all of a sudden you're losing.
Yeah, but I think Vegas' scoring is enough spread out, like even just in the forward sense, that they aren't really hurting from not having that like offensive defenseman.
No, that's true, and they'll probably have one in the next 2 years or so.
Yeah, I mean,
Just all
they
the draft picks that they have and the ability
picks,
to make
the
trades
space.
with them.
yeah.
It'll be interesting. But like for now, it's just I don't know. Winnipeg looks like a tough team, and even though the Knights are up 2-0 right now, this game might go 7. You know, now that gambling is quote unquote legal, sports betting in New Jersey, Sean,
in the United States,
Sean, play some bets for us. Yeah, yeah, but it's up to the states to pass laws. But New Jersey passed one, and they're probably trying to put up books in the next few weeks.
If only this was like, when the playoffs started, I would have put like $50 on Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, hey, no, but for me, it just comes down to how well execution is, because like we both put Vegas in the finals at the beginning of the playoffs, and Winnipeg just is a hot team right now. Just like the Capitals
they can totally take it.
I think this series could go 7. I'd put like a 70% odds on that, like chance that it goes 7.
I mean, I do think this is,
or not 7, 6 or 7.
This series is probably the one that you want to watch most if you're a non-hockey fan, because I think it'll be the better series no matter how far it goes.
Yeah.
No offense to the Washington Lightning series, but it's looking like Washington's going to wash them out.
Yeah, and that's with home games to go for Washington.
Yeah, so, I mean, they have a heavy advantage right now by winning both of the road games in pretty convincing fashion.
Yeah, it's these times we live in.
Yeah, isn't it great to talk about the team that the Penguins lost to?
They lost? Sorry, I've been watching the Pirates. No, I haven't. What am I talking about?
You're not watching baseball yet.
Hey, the Pirates are half a game out first. It's very tempting.
It's also 40 games into the season.
Shut up, Sean. We'll deal with that later. They don't choose all-stars for the all-star game based on what happens in September, do they?
No, but
Damn right.
They don't choose playoff teams based on what happens in April and May.
Well, then why do they put the All-Star? Every sport should have the Pro Bowl.
Well, every sport's now 16 games basically only happening on Sunday.
You can't tell me that the MLB couldn't benefit from less games. It's very hard to get up for 162 of these things.
And also, now they're limiting mound visits and all this crap to make the game faster. What the heck?
What about the bullpen cart? Let's drive the pitchers out in their 20 or 30 years of strength and conditioning to make sure that they're in pristine shape to play baseball. And now, all of a sudden, let's offer them a golf cart so that they don't have to run from the bullpen to the mound. You can't tell me, there isn't going to be one dude who pulls a hammy just because he didn't take, the 70-yard run from the bullpen.
Oh, boy.
Millennials, right?
Oh,
if I ever knew one. You've known me since first grade, and you still just act surprised that these things come out of my mouth.
Hey, it's not that they come out of your mouth, it's when.
I mean, I feel like I could have made that millennials line 7 years ago or now, and it wouldn't have made a difference in the reaction.
Exactly, I was more expecting it, but I was probably more expecting it, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, because when I was in New Jersey, it made more sense, because it just tear everybody apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's hockey playoffs. Look, we threw baseball into the mix for the first time on the show. Any horse racing stuff that you
Yeah, no, let's just move on.
They ran in the dirt, and somebody finished first, and a lot of people won money, and a lot of people lost money. And that's been horse racing.
Yep.
Versatility at its peak.
All right, anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on to what everybody expected in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, and we might have our shortest show to date so far, probably because there's not as many series to talk about in these sports anymore.
And I don't think...
But the NBA does not help. It really just does not help.
It was not really that interesting Like, we could have just, like, again, you didn't really need to watch. It just happened, and, like, everybody thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, we rip on the NBA every show, it seems like, but for real, if you want to have a league that not doesn't just bring in profits, but like provides entertainment value and like good entertainment value, I don't know, maybe have a series go 6 games, and when you have an NBA like now, in the past 5 years, where it's like, oh look, Warriors, Cavs, like, it's like, oh, it's this, it's like, and you can pencil in teams who are gonna make like at least a conference final from the preseason every year. The fact of the matter is, like, now it's boring. It's just really boring. You can't have a series go 6 damn games. Like, we were so close to having both the Eastern Conference series being a sweep. Like, Boston almost swept the Sixers,
Sixers, yep.
and the Cavs swept the Raptors. Like, this is ridiculous. It's like, you can't field 30 teams in an organization or in a league every year and be like, oh yeah, by the way, like, there's only like 6 that matter, and by the time that we get down to the final 6 or 8, like, really it's only like 2 that matter.
4, I can tell you 2 of them.
Well, yeah, well,
that's the problem.
Yeah, well, you mean by the time you get not only to the final 4, but like to like the final 8.
But I mean, to be fair, like, the Celtics have made a great run. Like, I don't think at the beginning of the year people pegged him for much after Hayward went down and all that kind of stuff happened.
Because they still had Kyrie. I think they were still thought to be like good contenders.
I mean, I didn't think they would be second in the conference and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but
yeah.
I didn't say they would be bad.
No, you're right. And it's not like they were going to be in the bottom half of the Eastern Conference bracket.
Not at all.
They were probably going to be like 3 or 4, but then the Cavs had a down year and traded away half their roster for, the cast of scrubs. Either that or actual scrubs. I'm not really sure. And that's part of not watching a lot of basketball. But the Cavs suck. And NBA basketball just kind of sucks. Like, I watched the second half of the game 1 between the Cavs and Celtics yesterday.
Why would you do that?
Well, because I was in Oak Island and I needed something to do. Like, right before I left, I needed to just, like, sit, watch some sports with the family before I came back. But the fact of the matter is, like, there is no defense in the NBA anymore. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but, like, I had this revolutionary, like,
you had a revelation.
I had a revelation. It was mostly in the form of because the Cavs had the ball and some dude on the Celtics who was alone in the paint, like not even defending anyone, just ended up with the ball. He wasn't even looking for the ball and he stole it. He has a steal on his box score. He wasn't even defending anybody. He just like, oh, LeBron had him, a bad pass and it ended up here. But like, the number of times where it's like, in hockey, you're like, oh, I don't know if the ref blew the whistle. It's like, the number of times that NBA plays break down and you're like, oh, they must have blown the whistle. There must have been like a reach-in foul or something. And then like, a dude just like takes 2 steps and lays it in and it's like, oh, so where was the foul? Like, why did he just like keep going? And then like the scoreboard, it's like ESPN scoreboard, just like, oh, plus 2 points. It's like, there's no defense. Like,
I mean, I don't think there has been much defense in the past couple of years.
Everybody's just sitting like 3 pick and rolls at one time, and then like there's 2 guys open underneath the basket, and then it's just really simple. It's crazy, man. I don't understand how you can watch this shit.
I mean, really I don't, so...
Well, for the sake of the podcast, you say that you do, though.
I mean, I look at the box score at the end of the day and see what I should talk about.
That's probably what I should be doing. It's a good
I
business tactic.
cannot sit and watch a basketball game. It's so many stops for a 48-minute game. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't understand anymore.
And like none of the like last series, none of them were even entertaining because I'm not really a basketball fan. I want to see a good series, man, and how like none of them were entertaining to watch. I was just like, "Oh, well,
Oh yeah,
Cavs
the
got
fact.
this one. Oh, well,
Yeah,
Celtics got this one. Rockets and Warriors just won theirs." Like,
yeah. But the thing is, like last week we sat here recording the show, the last episode, and it was like, oh, the Celtics Sixers series. If it goes, we said if it goes to like 6 or 7, it's it's probably the best series to watch. And the fact of the matter is, like, those hypothetical ifs ended up being probably the most accurate thing we said because they just didn't happen.
yeah, because nothing was exciting to
Yeah,
watch at all.
and teams like Utah, you feel bad because like they're trying to build through the draft and stuff, and it's like teams like the Cavs and the Warriors and the Rockets who didn't necessarily, they may have started by building through the draft, but then like just signed crap tons of players. Like Utah's never going to be able to sign the kind of players that Houston or Golden State has. So this is it for them every year until one of those two teams in the West folds. And that's assuming that like the Spurs don't come out of nowhere again and are all of a sudden good. And the same is probably true of the East, but the thing is like the Celtics, they didn't really build through the draft because of all the players that they have on their roster now are like signed or traded for, but the players who they have now are built through the draft because like that's who they're forced to play with.
Yeah, definitely. And again, like they're the story of this playoff.
Yeah, they're one team to root for. Because like the way that they're playing, they're not the underdog to win any of these series, but they're like when you look at the bracket, they're the underdog. Because every
They're,
other team is like, oh, we thought they were going to be there.
but if you're a non-fan of basketball like myself and you're looking and you're like, damn, like everybody knows, well, most sports followers will know that like Gordon Hayward went down at the beginning of the season and going into the playoffs to see them here at number 2 in their conference and making great run
Yeah,
to right now in the Eastern Conference Finals, like they are the team that a casual fan will support.
yeah, you're absolutely right, and like I don't have a dog in the fight, and I don't think either of us do. But if there was one, it would be the Celtics. Just because I want to see LeBron get knocked off, and because like
Wait,
it's super
hold on.
teams in the West.
You don't want to see Golden State versus Cleveland for like the third or fourth time in a row, whatever it is?
I mean, it might as well just be the '90s, and I just like throw in a tape in the VCR. Like I can watch old stuff at any time. Why would I?
Yeah,
Why would I want to? That's
yeah,
like
but
that's like the or entertainment equivalent of cheap technology. Like, it was already there. Might as well use it. And it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it. It was like, well, eventually you can't use this formula forever. It's just going to like get boring. Like,
did the Western Finals game really start at 9 p.m.
well, they're
Eastern?
both, they're both out. It's not like there's a Memphis where they can like start earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, even the freaking Winnipeg Vegas series starts at 8.
Yeah, although my geography on where Winnipeg is in Canada is not that great. I couldn't tell you if they
Well,
were like all the way
Winnipeg
out on
is
the west coast.
closer to Central.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
was thinking.
pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if when it switches to the Vegas games, if they'll be later.
I mean, all right, fair enough. Let's see.
We're back to doing sports research. Take 2.
Well, I mean, it's freaking looking at the time of a start.
Hey, research is research.
It starts at 9. Okay.
Okay, so it's an hour later, but still, it's an accommodation effort.
Yeah, I mean, usually the West Coast games will start at 10 for hockey, but I mean, nine's pretty good.
Yeah, nine's better than what. I mean, what didn't you say the NBA ones were at 9 too?
Yeah, the NBA is starting at 9. But then again, both what? So Golden State's in the West, like deep West Coast, and Houston, right? So I guess when they come to Houston, they'll be earlier.
No, Houston's a 1 seed.
Or oh crap!
Yeah,
So wait, they're playing in Houston and they're starting at 9.
yeah. So it might it'll probably just be 9 o'clock games all the way out.
That actually sucks. Wait a minute. No, no, no.
I
They're,
could be wrong. I haven't really
no,
been,
no. I mean,
checking the
when they
schedule.
go to when they go to Golden State, they're starting at 8. And yeah, like and then
The
9.
brilliant
So
minds
like
of
what
the
are these
NBA.
start times? It doesn't make sense.
The brilliant minds of the NBA. Let's start the game later when we're in the center of the country in Texas. But when we go to California and there's, you know, another hour time difference, let's put it even earlier.
I don't know what the NBA is doing, but like
I don't think any
most
of
of
us
those
know
games
what the
are too
NBA
late
is
for
doing,
me
but we
to.
all buy the video game because we all, are like, oh, 2K. Like, I can create my own team or I can do my career because if this is real life, I can't make a league. I play NBA 2K all the time, but like I turn it off every night and I still can't stand the NBA. Like, sometimes I just play with players that are like, oh, back in the days where like two ends of basketball were there, offense and defense. Like, it's this crazy idea, this crazy concept that there actually could be a competitive game. Like, let's go back game one for the Cavs Celtics yesterday.
Okay.
At halftime, the Celtics are up by 26. So the
Hmm.
Cavs decide they were absolutely going to turn it on for the second half. They played their hearts out, all for a +1 margin in the second half. They ended up losing by 25.
Yep.
That's how imbalanced the NBA is. It's not to say that the series themselves can't go far or like can't like be entertaining, but like there's just no close games anymore. And I mean, like, close games that don't come down and have a buzzer beater either. Like, give me a 3-point win that didn't have a buzzer beater in it. And it'd be like, okay, that's pretty damn good. I wish that my team
Like
would have won, but,
single digit.
we were right there. But you can't say that a team was right there anymore.
Down
They got
25.
obliterated, and then they'll come back, and the team that got obliterated will then be the one who obliterates the other team. And it'll just go back and forth like that for 7 games, and we'll never understand what the hell the actual problem was.
Hey.
All the teams just have moments of weakness, and then we're just stuck with absolute crap. So yeah,
Hey.
it's going to be Cavs and Warriors. Like, forget the fact that the Celtics won the first game. It's going to be Cavs and Warriors. The script has already been written. This is a new Penguins Capitals thing. Like, this will just happen for the next 19 years until, like, I don't know, the Orlando Magic just, like, come in and break the streak out of nowhere.
Good luck with that one.
It'll take a lot of convincing, but if there's any team that can do it, it might as well be a warm weather team because, obviously these super teams aren't, outside of Cleveland, they're not going anywhere except for like Houston or a California team. It's not like they're going to the Nets or the Knicks or anything. So it might as well be like, I don't know, Miami or Orlando.
All right. I mean, sure. But like I don't know, like I think Boston put on a show, was it last night?
Yesterday, yeah.
And I don't know, like I mean I fully expect the Cavs to come back.
Yeah, I'm hoping for like not a sweep, but I'd love for LeBron to lose in 6. It probably won't happen. The Cavs will probably end up winning the series, but I would love to see it happen. Like, not even for LeBron to go down in a game seven, it would be hysterical.
Hey, I mean, again, I just want a good series, and we're down to the final four teams. So it's one of those, like, they're the best four teams in or supposedly the best four teams in the NBA, right?
Hmm.
Can one of those series have like entertaining games, please?
Sean just wants a series good enough that he not only checks the box score, but
But
maybe
actually watches it?
No, but maybe watches the 45-second highlight that shows up at the ESPN app when you first open it. Like, oh, they actually this is actually somewhat interesting. I might endure the 15-second ad and the 35-second like 3-play highlight recap.
Hey, like, I just want some entertainment.
Yeah.
Some.
That's why we watch
Not
hockey.
even a lot.
That's why we watch hockey.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mind-boggling that people like suck the teat that is this NBA sport. It's so bad, man. Like in college basketball, you had that Loyola Chicago thing, a team that came out of like nowhere and made it to the Final Four. You don't get that in the NBA because like it's just that predictable.
Yeah. But I mean, what are we gonna do? It's like two super teams.
Yep.
Right? That's what they're calling them?
Yep. R.I.P. to the NBA.
Yeah.
Catch it when it comes back around in 2029. It's gonna be the same crap till then.
What, another 11 years? 10 years?
I mean, it all depends on when LeBron hangs them up, dude. He's
Eh.
only like 32.
Fair enough.
Yep. It's just the way it is in this ever-changing and never-changing world of sports. Man, this is depressing. I probably should have gotten into the Penguins Capitals recap now. I've been a lot more ready for this.
After depressingly talking about some basketball.
Well, there's a lot of anger and frustration built into that basketball conversation.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know.
But like, then again, like, I just want a nice series, because if it is what we expect, which is Golden State Cleveland, like, oh, the same thing again for the third or fourth year in the row, and do I really even need to watch that one either?
Probably not.
So yeah, like, just like one piece of entertainment, please.
Or let like Houston get to the final, even though they'll probably lose in 5 to the Cavs.
Dude, just let like either Houston or Boston, just like let them have a chance.
You know, it's weird. I think Boston's got the better chance than
Definitely.
Houston.
I do think Cleveland is playing worse.
Well,
of the-
not even because of that, but because Golden State's manhandled the Rockets in the past like 3 years in the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think Golden State's playing better
That's been the story every year.
than the Rockets. So I think they have like no problem. I think Golden State's just gonna take it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
Like, but Boston and Cleveland is the only hope for basketball right now to be anything like
Boston and
entertaining.
Houston, you mean? You said Boston
Like-
and Cleveland.
Uh,
Just pick a team from the East, pick a team from the West, and watch. It'll be wrong.
I mean,
if
like,
you pick Boston and Houston, that is.
I mean, I'm just gonna pick Cleveland and Golden State because that's what I think is gonna happen.
All right. I mean, hey, it's still 2014, 2015, and 2016, or 2015, 16, and 17. So why not 2018?
At this rate,
Same shit, different year. And that is the NBA. All right, so I think that's all we got for the show. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
no, that's it. I mean, there are very few sports series that aren't baseball going on right now. So, I mean, I just wish that half of the playoff, like, there are two playoffs going on right now. What can't, like, come on, be entertaining a little bit? Like,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, although for you, you have the advantage now of in a few weeks you can just start gambling on it and have like a different kind of emotional high from it.
I don't know.
Put like 50 cents on the Mets to sweep a series and then come out with 1,500, something like that.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
I mean, it could happen. For 50 cents, you'd probably make the bet.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, catch everybody next week for a recap of probably something that's going to be just like middle of the conference final, but
I mean, next week
predictable
we
in
might
the
be
NBA.
talking. Next week we might be talking the end of one of the series
Probably
in
because it's probably
hockey.
the NBA.
Well, I'm talking about hockey first,
Oh, yeah,
NBA
yeah,
second. But yeah, we might be seeing like next week. We might be talking about the end of the Washington and Tampa series. Like if it continues going how it is now, I mean, I do think Tampa can get a game and maybe make it interesting.
Gentleman sweep.
Yeah, no, we're not even talking about that. But if it all depends on what happens tomorrow, what Tuesday?
Tuesday.
And then like we're probably gonna be talking about the ending of the NBA conference finals next week. So
Yep, it was a good run. We're gonna have to figure out as a podcast how do we elaborate more on hockey once the NBA just gives us absolutely nothing. Because the NBA finals will be set before the conference finals for the NHL even is like halfway done.
yeah. So anyway, yeah. Next week we'll see.
Yep. Yep. Sounds good. All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
All right. Bye bye.